What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. I think we survived the Nvidia earnings, which, yeah, I mean, they came in line, they met expectations, but a little bit of priced for perfection. So we they just ate up all those shares real quick on that dip, though, for pretty much everything. But we got Albert in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Anna, Andy, Bill, Brad. Good morning to Cheryl, Cindy, Donna, Greg. We got Joe. Good morning. Marius. Good morning. Martina, Mike, Micus, Tim. The squadron's in the house. We got Clarissa in YouTube land. Good morning to you. Real life virtual domain, Santilla. All my lurkers in the background. That's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. I gotta do that share thing, right? Get the chart up. I thought I did it, but no, doesn't look like it. There we go. BBY is gapping up. Is there anything that isn't gapping up this morning? Yeah, there is. Unfortunately, there's still like Nvidia didn't quite make it past the closing price. I think AMD's down a little bit too. But ooh, everything else is pretty much gapping up. Everything else. I think there's two down there. Everything else. Oh, yeah. Yeah, DG. That's not gapping up. I guess there's that one. But besides that, just ignore it. Just ignore it, and we'll see if that one gets. We'll see if that one gets bought up too. We'll see. But Spy, it is gapping up. We're back into. I mean, after hours, it was getting a little scary. We were breaking down some key spots right now with this gap up at least. Now you still are right back into this 556 as your bigger support. That one we've now messed with at least once. So I think the next time down, if there is one, eventually there probably is, but that is probably more likely to break to the downside. And then we could probably get that follow through. But until that even happens, now you got yesterday's VPOC at a pretty strong support, somewhere around 558.34. I got one small one over here. I don't think this is too much of a big deal anymore, but 559.14. So some decent level of support. To the resistance side, we got a ton of it. We got 560.28. It's the first one I want to see taken out. We're gonna have to see 560.62. We got 560.97, and we got 561.77. So let's just call it 562. If we could break 562 on SPY, I forget who said it was they were looking for all-time highs before Labor Day. Time is ticking. Time is ticking, my friend. We'll see what happens, but uh you survived. You dodged a wrench. You dodged a wrench so far. Otherwise, not bad. So the one thing on this one too, and let's just think about the after hours. And again, obviously a lot of it was based off of the drop from Nvidia, and we'll get to that in a second. But if you were holding anything last night, or you're like, oh, Nvidia, they just came in line, and that's not blowing out the quarter by 20%, which they're still growing. It's not a dying company. But if you got in there short somewhere, you were feeling pretty good when you went to sleep. Today, you're gapping up anybody who did go short and then caught that little tiredness and just closed their eyes for 2 seconds and woke up at like 6 a.m. They're all trapped to the short side. So now I think that does give us a little bit of level of like you have a lot of bears trapped just from last night. I want to think that this market can just open, and I don't know if we rally immediately because there is that pretty big resistance. I wouldn't be shocked if we do. But I think there's a lot of resistance up there where we kind of at least chop around there first before we break out. Otherwise, I think any of these dips that come in, I think they are buying opportunities. I think people are looking to kind of flip on their shorts, take a small loss, and then just run back into that bullish direction. So I think though at least those supports, if we get down there, I think they should act pretty strong today. But we're in no man's land. We do have a little bit of resistance right above us. So maybe some chop getting into it. We did have core PCE come out today, which I thought it was tomorrow, but I guess the other PCE numbers come out tomorrow. And then the other big news today at 8:30 was jobless claims, which are pretty much right in line. So nothing too crazy there. And again, I think more focus is probably on the jobs than it is even on inflation at this point. So we shall see. But otherwise, a little bit of probably chop day, but I like it for the Bulls. I like the odds. Qs. Again, with Nvidia gapping down, you would assume that this one is a little. You would assume this one should be down a lot more, but I guess we don't need Nvidia anymore to move the markets. That's crazy. Just disconnected from it. Uh, Qs has resistance 473.84. This one is also gapping up, just not as much as probably the SPY. With some weight from Nvidia, which makes sense. Otherwise, you got the Qs. Looking for support around 471.61. So we'll see. See if we could sell a little bit, but that's the first dip I would look for. If that starts to break, you do have some moving averages right underneath you. Could help boost us up a little bit. Otherwise, we messed around with this first support or this next one, which is 469.62. And then I think we'd probably be getting into like this 466.97 if this breaks down. So we'll see how good that support works. To the higher side again, I'm not expecting a huge breakout day. The only way I think we really get that breakout day today is if we do have a lot of shorts just trapped and everyone is just kind of buying to cover, and then that helps bring us to that next breakout some of those supports. But otherwise, we got 475.40-ish would be a pretty good resistance. And then another one from 2 days ago is 476.52. So Bulls still have their work cut out for them, but again, they're hanging in there. They are hanging in. Let's check out Nvidia since that's what everybody's watching. Everybody's watching Nvidia. And this one got right into this 515 zone, I think, last night, which is right around here. Got close to this range. I got 114.60. I threw an order out there for 105.44. That didn't get filled. That got canceled. But it did get into this 115 zone. I think there's probably some kind of fib there too. Let's see if there is. I think here's somewhere about here, somewhere about there. Well, we didn't quite even make it to the 50% retracement. I got 111.69 off that move. So we didn't even get into the 50% retracement, but it does help when you have every single analyst ever coming out just to continuously upgrade Nvidia as well, increase price targets. The report, again, it was not bad. We're not gapping down because the report was bad. We're not having any fear that Nvidia is going out of business. We just don't know if the growth is going to be there the same way. At least they didn't really deliver it the same way. But yeah, they even guidance, they increased guidance and all that stuff too. So just not massively. But otherwise, this is a retest gap. You're sitting right at the 20 EMA on the daily. I don't see why it doesn't get bought up with the rest of the market. So let's see if we can find a spot, maybe even to go bullish, high wave candle. We'll get Nvidia a little bit higher on the list. If it wants to cooperate. There we go. We'll throw it up there just to watch it. Again, I don't know if I really have to trade it. But if you get any type of selling, get some kind of candle, we could take a break above. I think that we do probably end up going for retest. Biggest issue for this one is 124.01. We got to take that out. And then I think I'd be looking for like this 125.77 price target. So I don't know if it'd be a crazy huge move, and that might keep me away if I can't really make that risk to reward work. But we'll see. Santilla says, Nvidia, I'm waiting to buy puts at today's high. Well, my first question, Santilla, is what is the high for today? If you could let me know, I'll do it too. Like if you're gonna tell me that's the high of the day, in fact, I would buy puts on everything at the exact high of the day. Wherever that is, but just, you let me know because those will probably win. But I don't know what the high of the day is. You got huge resistance on this one up if we get back to like this 128.28 zone. If you're gonna take an attempt, I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to short Nvidia. To be honest, it doesn't historically work out that well. And if I am in there short, or if I do buy puts, it's for very short term probable day trade. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not going bearish yet. AMD, we're looking for some kind of sympathy reaction play off that one. I think I'd still AMD at this point. It did rally back. You're kind of at that resistance. I would still be looking for AMD short, and I do have some calls. I was hoping that Nvidia would rip some faces off in the bull direction and then get some sympathy. That doesn't look like the case. So I'm probably going to exit some of those calls. Probably worthless for the most part. But we'll see what happens on those. And then, yeah, I think if I was to take anything, I think you got better range on AMD than anything else. Your next support on this one is a little bit lower, 144.40. I think we messed around with even 140 yesterday. The fact that we were at 140 and got all the way back to 146 is still really impressive, but all those lines are kind of been met with. And we were looking at, even in the afternoon swing room, we were looking at somewhere around this 137 zone. Probably a little bit lower, but 137, 136 as a potential buy spot. We'll see. The key level right here, if we could open anywhere or start climbing above 146.57. All right, it's got a shot. It's got a shot. Still tough on the range. Probably 149.97, essentially 150 to the high side. So we'll see, but I don't know. Let's take a look at DG since that one's getting absolutely murdered. It's always bad when I got to scroll out and then move my lines down. Now, you know it's not going to be good. You know it's not going to be good. Let's see. What levels are we at? Let's go to a monthly chart. Where was the last time DG was at this price? Looks like back here, June 2018. So if you liked it back then, you have your chance. You have your chance if you felt like you missed it back in 2018. Other than that, would I be buying this one today? I don't know. I think it's their biggest one day drop ever. Yeah, I think so. And their earnings were not great. They weren't horrible. It was more their guidance than anything. I mean, they still came in, they were expecting a 10.36 billion. They still did 10.21. So I don't think this is a run out of business for Dollar General. We don't see them anymore. Earnings per share, they were expecting $1.79. They reported $1.70, so a little bit of a miss there by 5%. So not great, but the guidance on it, they said we do see a little struggle ahead of us, and I think that's going to get obviously in this environment where every other day we might have a recession and then we don't have a recession. You do want to see some kind of growth. I'm not even opposed to. I would probably need to almost give this a 3-day rule. So see if we get any further selling. You do have again anybody in the last what 6 years that bought the stock is now trapped. So you probably do see some follow through sell off. Maybe we get down to like the $82 range, something like that. But I wouldn't mind buying it or looking at it for the long term. I don't think they go out of business. I think they just have to remodel. But they have a tough. We talked about this too with higher inflation. Uh, Wages have to go up for everybody, and then you can't really like you're branded to the Dollar General. So yeah, you could raise prices, but people aren't going to be too thrilled. And then you even have a competition coming in from Target and Walmart and other places like that too. So I don't know if it's going to be a huge growth business, but this is technically a retest gap for today. You're just trapping everybody. So I don't know if I would touch DG, but we'll get much higher on the list. I would almost want to give it a couple days, see if we can find some sideways chop action. Give me a fun little candle on a daily, something like that, and then maybe from that point. Um, but yeah, that is at least different than the rest of the market. Dell. Intel's looking for 125 on Nvidia. Okay. Let's see. Dell. Gapping down. Still below that 200. It still looks shortable. It's just going to be very tough for me to want to short something today with the rest of the rallying back. Uh, I can't go bullish on this one quite yet. We do have that 200 EMA right in front of us. I got a pretty big resistance sitting somewhere around 108.54. Um, Other than that, if you do want to go bullish on this thing, this is a gap and go to the bear side, kind of. Your target, if you're bullish on this one, and you think we can get above that 200, you're looking for about 110.89. So it's got some room. To the downside, you have a lot of room. That would take us into probably we have a mini gap down here, but nothing crazy. But we got 102.80. So you do have a little bit better risk reward on the downside. I would see if we get this one bought up a little bit higher though before trying to get in. But that would look like a decent opportunity for a short. Affirm, AFRM. Yeah, GDP came in at 3%. So that number actually came in a little bit hotter. I think it was expected like 2.8, something like that. Affirm, they crushed earnings. I think their guidance looks good. All right, so let's figure this out real quick. Let me see if I can put a puzzle together in my head real quick. Affirm, which does buy now, pay later, meaning that you probably don't have the money to buy something today, but that doesn't stop the US consumer, not at all. We just we just figure out like it's the same thing as like a helmet. It's the same thing as a helmet. We have death-defying activities that we realize crack our skulls open when we do them. Like we have people riding bikes and motorcycles, and then they're like, I keep cracking my head. So instead of just stop doing those dangerous activities, we just invent the helmet, and that protects us, so we can still do our death-defying activities. I think the economy is pretty much consumer spending is pretty much like that. Yeah, we could just not buy certain items, but why do that when we could just buy it now and pay it later? So that's not really a strong like endorsement for the economy. And then you got things like even Dollar General getting kind of clapped on margins and having tougher years. The one thing with Dollar General though is you would think that in a tough economy, Dollar General would actually do better. So I don't know. But we have a firm that is at a major resistance. Probably could keep going. I think it used to at least have a good short squeeze on it. I don't know if it still does. Let's see. AFRM. Yeah, 9.4% short float. Watch this level right here. This little sneaky little line, 39.47. If we start taking it out, I think we go probably crazy on this thing. Even though we're at resistance, I think I still like it bullish, honestly. And it's up a lot too. Uh, this is one I think actually probably goes higher. I don't know how to get into this one with really good risk reward, so I might have to let a couple candles go by, and at that point, we should already know if this thing is continuing that squeeze. But really good move if you're holding a firm, if you're in it, fantastic. Watch now, trade later, I guess. But it is at that one last resistance before it gets off to the races. I'm just going to drop this one here because it's taking forever. Trading View is taking forever to get my tickers up there. CRM, yep, they reported as well too. I think they actually came in with a beat, raised guidance, and then I think they had a new not CEO, I think they got a new chief financial officer. I don't know if that one really affects it too much. Uh as far it's not like the CEO got changed. It might is that CRM? Yeah, I believe it's CRM. Got a new CFO. But good gap up here. You are into a pretty big resistance. I think this one most likely you're looking for a fade down. This one I think comes back for a retest 265.36. We do have that already kind of high on the list. We'll just scoot it up a little more. We'll see if we can get that one as a potential short. Let's see what else am I missing. BBY. Let me take a look at that one. BBYE. Like, why not? This one's gapping up. Nice gap up, actually. Oh, they had earnings too. So no one's going to Dollar General. They're all just going to Best Buy. But Best Buy has the freedom to kind of mess with their margins. They are able to sell stuff at at some moving pricing. They also have online, which I think it's tough for the Dollar General to get an online presence. I don't even know if it would make sense for them. And then you got to ship a dollar product. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good gap on BBY. Nice. Good longer term double bottom down there 63. If you got anywhere in the 60s, 70s, you're probably pretty happy with this gap up. Are we into any type of resistance on this one? We do have some resistance where we're opening right now. I think some people on this gap probably look to take some profits, I would assume. So I'd see if this one wants to pull back or look for a fade on BBY. Let's see what else we got. I do want to check out Bitcoin, not just because real virtual demand is here, but mainly because real virtual demand is here. I gotta keep the fan club happy. That's all. That's all I gotta try to do. But more importantly, I want to check out Coinbase because Coinbase got a little kind of low yesterday, and I want to see what Bitcoin is doing. So Bitcoin, a little bit of a high wave candle. You have a double bottom at the 200. You're starting to break out a little bit. Couple other resistance in the way. 61,000 is the next kind of resistance on it. So now let's take a look at coin. There are so many DGs. They could do deliveries with a slingshot. Yeah. Um, they probably could, but that is going to further cut into their already decreasing margins. Unless they're going to start charging for delivery, and then I don't even know how that would work out. You competing against Amazon, who's like, no, we have free delivery, even though you pay $125, $130 a year just to be entitled to the Amazon service. But I don't think anybody's going to be paying I don't think anyone's going to pay Dollar General $125 to be in their club. So they got some issues. They got some issues. Coinbase, same thing off that 200. Man, I was gonna buy some calls yesterday toward the lows. I should have did that. Should have did it. But you get that gap up. Let's see if this one pulls back first. I would be looking for some kind of support around 192.81, 192, 192, 193 maybe. But somewhere in that zone, if we get back here, we're now inside day. We're just at the higher, well, almost the opening price. And I do have resistance somewhere around 196.96. If Bitcoin can hold this 200 and start to rally, there is a lot of decent room to the higher side on this one. So I do want to continue to watch that one. Let's look at Mara as well. Mara looks kind of decent. I got the 20 EMA staring me right in the face, though, and then I got the 200 up here. Otherwise, decent pullback. I kind of wanted this one to come a little bit lower, at least come into retest the 1652. I guess we got kind of close to it, but almost looking for some kind of inverted head and shoulders. Otherwise, from this gap down, this is your first higher low, higher high. So that might be decent for something like Mara as well. Box was just a real virtual demands. Emojis. Let's see. We got Box, TS, and Chewy. We can look at those two. Still got 4 minutes, so we're good. Yeah, Box is screaming from yesterday. So that was that move yesterday. Probably continue. So this would be something I wouldn't mind looking for a continuation, but that's still a big move. Let's see if there's some people taking profits. So I think that's still a buy the dip opportunity. We got Chewy. Chewy had a good breakout yesterday. I think that was off of earnings though, right? Yeah, that was their earnings. Good follow through, good continuation. The gap wasn't that impressive, but it did move pretty nicely. And then you got a big resistance on Chewy up at like 29.79. So I think if you want to see if this one continues to rally, it might be a slower inside day for it. but I would need probably $30 and 6 cents to break. Your first, I'd set an alert for like 29.80. You start getting above that, then we could kind of watch it from there, see if there's a trade for continuation. Out of the gate, we will see. What's the other one I missed? TS. Tenaris. Mm, Minerals company. Nice little gap on this one. You have a beautiful gap fill up at 31.85. I don't have this one on my list, so I'm going to add it. You do have that one little resistance up here as well. So I'd want to see probably 28.85 clear, and then I think you're essentially. I think you might get caught up today, possibly at 29.79, but you do have a lot of room for that gap fill on TS PayPal. 73, we've been saying this for a while. 73 is a really good resistance for it. So I think we just mess around in the zone for a while. However, you're now messing around for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, 7 if you include that green one. That is a gap and go. Huge resistance before 73 now, kind of being built in somewhere around 71, 73. So you have almost, I think it goes a little bit higher from here, but I think we get chopped around and then takes off. But decent little gap and go. Would be concerned in terms of bullish targets at that's we'll call it 71.68. Start breaking that. You got 72.01. If we start getting and climbing above the 72.01, I think we're right back to 73, and then maybe we could make that next little push on this one up to like 74-ish, something to that effect. ARM. Did they buy ARM back too? Pre-market, you're gapping up on ARM. Uh, Same thing as Nvidia. Nvidia's got a brick wall right in front of it. This one does too. So I'd want to see probably about 130 start clearing, and then I think we're off to the races. We could probably get up back to 155 eventually. But in here, you do have a little chop fest. But that morning bell is about to ring. So on YouTube land, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Let's see. I gotta do a stop share first. I forgot. But be safe in the market. We got one more day. One more day. We got a little 3 day.